There we go. Hello, everyone. To people just joining, to people who have been waiting, and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Hello, welcome back to another stream, and welcome back to Game Dev Sunday. Oh, sorry. Now, I didn't do this last week because I was honestly quite drained from stuff like work and then other stuff that happened after it. So I skipped out on it, but I am back with it again. And remembering back to the actual last time that I did game dev stuff on stream, also I'm grabbing stuff from across my room, so I'm kind of moving about at the moment. But the main focus that I believe was the center of the last time I did one of these was making the falling animation for the player character, because it kind of looked a little flat without, an actual falling loop. And we did do that in the end, even though it's kind of jittery. If we look at it looping in the engine, here, I couldn't get it to loop absolutely perfectly, sadly. I couldn't get it to loop perfectly. That was the one thing I wanted, and I just couldn't, do that entirely. Also, I'm trying to think of music. Um... think. Oh, my brain. Screw it. We're gonna go for Pokemon stuff. Hello. Also, I don't think this is actually. Where is it? The Calm Down Pokemon. I like that one, but I'll restart it from the beginning. There we go. Hello. So going over stuff that I did last time, we did the falling loop, or the falling loop for the player, and as I said, it's not exactly perfect. This animation isn't perfect because it's kind of jittery in how it loops, but for the time being, until I find a way to adjust it as such so that, it doesn't instantly jump when it loops back round, you know, I'll be happy when I'm able to sort of correct that. But now, for today, and I reckon that either this won't take too long, or will actually take quite a bit of time, depending on, what we're focusing on. There are two animations that I want to sort of go back to and make some adjustments to. So I have kind of talked about, I kind of talked in brief a little bit. Briggs whole making 3D game just gets me mad. Yeah, I get the feeling, like, it's a long bloody process, honestly, trying to make things. Dum, 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 dum. Also, I have slices of bread, so I'm just kind of eating through those. So there may be some pauses as I'm talking, and that's because I'm getting bread eaten. So but yes, there are two animations in particular that I want to touch like go back and sort of make some adjustments and touch up upon before I make probably one of the more important animations for the player, which is the air dash one. But the two that I'm looking at, where is the run? So the run, it's set the run. So the player's like default run, and then the player sprint. Now, it will be a 3D platformer, yes. That's what I am trying to do. I'm trying to do something in like a similar vein as like Spyro and Banjo and Super Mario 64 and whatnot. And I have been working on it slowly. All the good dead game got it. And it's kind of sad that those good series are just basically kind of, you know, dead. I mean, Super Mario 64 is just, you know, its own thing, and Mario still continues, but Spyro and Banjo just being completely dead and, I feel like, just dead and buried at this point. It's sad. Just... yeah, we live in a timeline where Banjo and Spyro are dead, but we're getting Bubsy 4D. Like... how? It's pure insanity to me, honestly. I mean, if there is a god, he certainly, well, they certainly like to make us suffer. But yes, those are the two particular animations that I want to revisit. Now, hold on. If the mood struck me to have to just eat slices of bread before stream, I should have done that way earlier. But that was my fault. Okay, so... making an old school turn-based RPG. I don't know how many people like it. You know, like, you know, give it a try. Like, I know you're currently doing it, but, you know, it's worth a shot. I haven't tried, like, properly making a turn-based RPG yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe someday. Who knows? Who knows? But... yeah, the reason why I want to go back to these two animations in particular is because if I, sort of, like... I mean, PC probably mainly be the main platform I target. If I'm ever able to somehow make it for, like, consoles and stuff, then, yeah, but in terms of, like, this animation, like, while it's decent, like, from this angle at the very least... oh, that's who you... oh, sorry. My bad. My complete bad. I don't mind hearing you answer. Yeah, no. But I'm interested in hearing, like, what you're making it for. But yeah, no, in terms of, like, this animation, like, as the player goes down, it doesn't really look like the arm just kind of... It kind of just stops even before they land. Like, it just stays in place as they land, and that just looks very stiff to me. So, that's the thing I'm wanting to try and adjust with this one, the run animation, is the fact that the arm just kind of sticks there and it doesn't, you know, properly follow through. And then the other thing, the other animation that we are looking at, the sprint animation, is... I don't like it because of, one, everything. And that's because of how the legs move and how the animation looks in motion in general. It just doesn't look good in my opinion. Like, I was trying to make it, like, fast and, like, energetic and such, but it just, like, there's no, like, real build-up to how the legs move, in my opinion. And maybe it was because of the, like, the guide I was following on how to make a proper sprint animation, because I was trying to reproduce the steps that I followed with the run, was something that, like, you know, has more, like, deeper looking bounds, but... PC, the character level up in, like, in RPG keeps when you die, but everyone does something special. Roguelike, if you get a buffer run, but they all debuff. Ooh. Interesting stuff. But yeah, no, in terms of the run animation, like, I remember making it the first time around and thinking, you know what, this is kind of okay, and then looking at it a few times, like, yeah, no, I'm starting to not like this, and now I'm just like, yeah, I hate this. I hate how this sprint animation looks, and how the legs move. How did I make something ungodly? So, we're gonna go back into Blender, we're gonna sort things out. I think this was the one with the run. Yep, this was the one with the run. Because I also need to increase how many frames are there. But also reduce it by 1 so that, you know, it loops perfectly. But yeah, no, the main issue, as I said, is during, like, from frame 9 up until frame 13, when it starts to move back, the right arm doesn't follow through, and the same would go for, like, this left arm after, like, it loops back round again. It just doesn't follow through. It doesn't keep moving, like, it just stays still. And I don't like how stiff it looks. It feels robotic. And I know, like, in some ways, because of how I'm making this, like, low poly PS1 sort of style graphics, there are going to be, you know, limitations that I have to try and emulate. But at the same time, I feel like that looks a bit too, like, static. It doesn't look nice. That's my opinion, at least. Let me think. So... I'm trying to visualize it. What I'm trying to... There's only so much I can do without getting too far from my PC and also essentially just ripping, not ripping, but taking the taking my headset out of the out of where it's plugged in, where I'm trying to sort of imagine how it should look. So if I and yeah, hydrating is a good idea, yeah. Like, I'm not, actively doing a workout, but being stood up like this, it's like I'm almost imitating it while I'm trying to visualize it, and it's bugging me that I can't visualize it properly. And I'm basically stretching my legs like this. This is the most active I'd probably be out of any stream ever by doing this. Unless I somehow decided to do, like, rhythm boxing or Ring Fit Adventure on Switch. Which would be a funny idea. I don't think I would do that, but it would be hilarious, but you wouldn't be able to see my face anyway, so you could only see, what's going on the screen. Okay, so now I'm thinking about how things should look during a walk, especially as characters, like, if I had to describe it, it's when the arm opposite to, like, the leg that's sort of, like, raising up is, like, moving forward as it's raising up. And then as the foot comes down, that's when it's supposed to start moving back. But if we go over the animation itself, like, as I pointed out, it was frame 9 is when this just stays still and it just doesn't move. And I feel like if I was to adjust the rotation of both of the arms a bit further when they start moving again, so then adjust how the arms move as the player is coming down, it will look a lot better. So that's kind of my official assessment. Is ketchup on liver good? I don't know, because I've never had liver. And I can't, like, I like ketchup, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if... Should I risk it? I mean... you only live once. And you should make an attempt, maybe, but if it doesn't taste so good with ketchup, then... No, very bad idea. I mean, to be fair, I just don't know. I've never had liver. So, I am not an authoritative figure to consult on this. Right, so in terms of how... Because if I remember... Okay, no. Actually, I need to imagine, like, so. Okay, I'm now recognizing a second problem. I'm now recognizing a second problem with the animation. And that's the lack of, like, the torso actually sort of, like... It doesn't have to be, like, huge adjustments. It can just be very subtle ones. Rather than, you know, very smooth-looking, like, adjustments with the, like, with the torso. Fried liver is a very light and fluffy snack food. Ketchup sweetness throws off the flavor of it. Interesting things are happening in chat today. So, thinking about, like, you know what, fucking, at this point, like, at some point on a future stream, as a joke, I just do fitness boxing, Fist of the North Star, and it's just an exercise stream. My god. Maybe I do that for the birthday week. I have no idea. That would be hilarious, but... Now, if it was a chicken gizzard or heart, go for it. Things to consider. I haven't had chicken gizzard before. Now, I'm assuming that you've had chicken gizzard or heart. What are they like? Because, see, I'm a simple person. I don't know how to describe this taste. Is it a good or a bad? Like, I feel like you're going to come back and say, yeah, no, this is bad, but I'm interested in hearing. I keep getting... Right. Slight adjustments, so... They are harder and tougher, needed the back teeth to break the... Oh. Right. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm recognizing a second problem with how stiff the animation looks. And that's from, like, a lack of even just micro-rotation of the torso. So... Right. But smaller, so great for gums and teeth health. Huh. To be fair, I was hungry as fuck, so... I mean, fair dues, but... Wow. I don't think I could imagine trying that. I was looking at the weather. Why was I trying to look at the air quality? I forgot I was on stream and I had display capture on. I was trying to look at the air quality. Or should I say the bloody forecast for the air quality? Monday. It's gonna start raining during my birthday week. Which is not, you know, week starting tomorrow. I'm talking about when it starts on the 1st of September, because my birthday's on the 7th. And according to the weather, looking at it on my phone, it's supposed to be like 40% chance of rain. It's like, why? It makes me sad. Or did I actually? I can't remember. Did I? I didn't. I fully 100% didn't. Right. Oh yeah, now I remember. So, frame 0 and frame 18 are the same, and frame 9 is frame 0 basically reversed. So, if I want to... This is going to take a little bit of adjusting, a little bit of precision. So if I rotate on the Z, and then I rotate the neck on the Z just the other way. So I can align it so that the head is facing forward-ish. I think I somehow managed to rotate it back so it's forward, but have the torso slightly rotated. Damn, okay, I'm good at this. So insert keyframe, location, rotation, and scale. Copy this pose. Paste this pose. Location, rotation, and scale. Oh, wait. Go to frame 9. Pose. Paste pose flipped. Location, rotation, and scale. Okay, so it's a little bit less stiff. Slightly. And how things are rotating with the torso actually looks fairly decent. I didn't have to actually, you know, make too many micro adjustments to make sure that, oh, it doesn't do it too smoothly. It does it in the way that I prefer, which is good. So, right. Righty-ho, righty-ho, righty-ho. Next step is to actually sort out the matter of the arms and how they move. Or how they move as the player is coming down, like, on their foot. Because at the moment, it just stays still rather than moving, and I want that to change. Right, okay. This will take a little bit of time as well. So looking at how... I mean, going back to how I was visualizing it before... Okay, so the problem was that the problem wasn't that there was no following through. In a way, it was already following through when, you know, it reached the apex of the run, or the bounce from the run. It's just that the arms were just staying completely still, even when the player was going down onto their foot to sort of move to the next step. So, you know, it's just finding out, you know, the actual problem, if that makes sense. So... Right, so... Or actually, if I was to adjust, like, only one part, that part being the arm, and I was to move it here instead, but then I would need to adjust the other arm as well. Or maybe that's a bit too much. That might be a bit too far. Oh, it's trying to find my balance. It's trying to find my balance for how this can be made better. See, like, this is the reason why making something in 3D is definitely, you know, its own long process, because you may have some way of just... Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. Oh, God. You may have some way of trying to visualize it that may work, but at the same time, visualizing it does help, but at the same time, it definitely does take a lot more than just, you know, merely visualizing it. You have to try and execute things in a way that makes sense to how you visualized it. Ugh. Right. So if I look at... So that's... So if I was to... At the very least, I want it to be a slight adjustment. I want to see... Hold on. So if I go move on the Y and move it ever so slightly back. And then for this, I would need to move it along the Z. Move it ever so slightly down. And then insert location, rotation, and scale for all keyframes. Right, so maybe I needed to deselect all of it because it wasn't looking like any of the changes I was making was taking effect. Okay, there we go. So deselect those. does it mean when those things are linked? What is this keyframe type? Always like, It feels like it's... Like, what if I was to just... I don't know. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Okay, so now I'm messing around with this a little bit. I feel like the adjustments are going to have to be different from what I had intended. So originally, my intention was to move these arms a bit further in on the third, on like frame 3, which is, you know, the 4th frame, because, you know, starts at frame 0 and whatnot. My original intent was to, like, on this frame, sort of draw things in a little more, but it looked a bit too, like, it didn't look like it was actually affecting anything. But knowing now that it is more noticeable if I was to adjust the position of the arms on the very first frame, and also, like, of this, and also the very first frame of, like, when it's, you know, the arms are flipped to the other side, that would work out a lot better. So I would need to make adjustments on frame 0, frame 9, and then take the changes from frame 0 and paste them to frame 18. That's where I'd need to make those changes. Which, you know, is not too bad. They're only, you know, small number of frames. It's not terrible. It's not like I'm going to be absolutely dying trying to make these changes, which is good. That's the thing I don't want to happen to me the most. I don't want to... You know, weird thing to say out loud on stream, but you know what? It's a basic requirement. You want to live, unless you don't, in which case that is kind of sad. So I can, yeah, so changes on frame 0, copy them exactly to frame 18, and then take them, invert them for frame 9, and that should resolve the problems that I'm having with this animation. And then we just, you know, save, export it, and then re-import it into the engine, which, you know, shouldn't take too long. So with regards to 0, Right. So this should be fine. Location, rotation, and scale. And now if I do this... It looks better for the arm that's, you know, on this side where it's swinging. Oh, whoops. Not what I meant to do. When it starts to swing. But for the other arm, it feels like it doesn't budge that much. So, let's see. That should... no, actually, no. See, that one was, like, this arm was fine. Like, adjusting this was fine, but it seems like this just doesn't, It wants to resist. Right, so I'm gonna need to take the pose from frame 0, paste it to frame 18, location, rotation, and scale, paste it to frame 9 but flipped, and then I'm gonna need to take frame 3, copy the pose from here, and then take it to frame 12? Yeah, frame 12. Paste pose flipped. And then location... Oh, wait, whoops. I did not have anything selected. Whoops. Location, rotation, and scale. Now, if I look at things now... it doesn't look so stiff. So, scrolling HP bar is just a bunch of numbers. Rest... Several number moved up for the damage taken. Kind of. But at the very least, looking at... yeah, this doesn't look as stiff anymore, which is good. I'm very happy with that. That was the main thing that I wanted to sort out with this animation, how stiff it looked. So, I'm pressing Control S, but sometimes it just doesn't like me. Layout mode. Now we go to export, FBX. So, selected objects. Wait, hold on. Do I have... yeah, I do have them both selected. Right, so export, FBX, selected objects. So bake animation. Remove these. And it was rat run. And now if we go into the engine, go to rat run, and we re-import. Oh, the Bubsy Form theme, main theme dropped. Ooh. Just to make sure it's got my changes, I need to... It does. Good. I got those changes in. It's taking a moment to load play mode. This doesn't normally happen. To be fair, it's probably because I... Oh yeah, and the wall slide animation too. I need to do that too. And then an eventual wall jump, but... But then with the sprint animation, it just looks like this in practice, and it doesn't look good. So... that is the next one that we need to target. The god-awful sprint animation. Sorry. Sorry about that. Ooh. Right. Probably definitely need this. For the diabetes. Now, if I look at the sprint, Oh, whoops. Like, it just doesn't... Like, it's... Gosh. It's... let me think, let me think, let me think, let me think. Like, I feel like if I wanted it to... If I wanted a good-looking sprint, I would need it to... Like, it doesn't really take advantage of, like, having high bounces and low... Like, it doesn't... Like, it sinks too low, but it doesn't bounce up too much. So now I'm wondering whether or not I could probably just... adjust... Okay, my brain is just... Help! Ouch. Right. Anyway, I'm wondering if I do definitely need to adjust, like, this a bit more. Okay, never mind then. So looking at... Like, to be fair, I feel like once I pinpoint where this is similar across the entire animation, or in the, like... where this pose is the same exactly and where this pose is the same inverted, then I can sort of like make the adjustments where I need to in terms of the height of the root bone, and then make the other adjustments from there. But the ads are starting, so we'll be back in a few short minutes, so hang on tight, and we'll be back very soon. And we're back. Okay, right. So, like I said, need to find the points in the animation where it looks, you know, like this, and I feel like it's just, yeah, these, so frame 0, frame 15 are the same, and frame 7 is this pose inverted. That's basically what I am finding here. So, now that I know... So, if I take this, move it along the Z... Location, rotation, and scale... Copy pose... Paste pose here... Location, rotation, and scale... And then frame 7 was where we also saw it reversed. So, paste pose flipped. Location, rotation, and scale. Okay, and already, because there's like an actual like up, like it's looking a bit better now. There's an actual like up point of this animation, you know, where the like the root bone is up, but I do need to make adjustments to the feet in like not just those positions, but also the in-betweens as well. Just so it looks a lot better. Why did I open the engine again? So, looking at... It looks like it does this weird hover thing, and then just... Like, what was I doing? What was past me thinking when he was doing that? I have no idea.
But yes, so I think was it to do with the rotation of? So I'm looking at how this is. So if I was to say 0, if I was to 0 things out, right? Oh yeah, no. Now I remember because I rotated the root bone / the hip forward slightly to give things a bit more of a lean with the animation, but I feel like that was kind of a mistake. I feel like it should have been more so. Like, if I was to reset the... Okay, actually, that kind of makes it look weird. What have I done? Right, so... Now I'm realizing, like, I'm thinking... This is a bit tougher than I thought it would be, actually.
I think... And then I'm gonna need to rotate... I'm pretty sure here, yeah, it was the same. Location, rotation, and scale. And then I want to take these bones. Yeah, I want to take these two bones. I'm going to copy pose. Paste pose. Oh no, that, uh-oh. Right, okay. So my plan with adjusting the hip didn't go quite according to plan. Unless... So I realize what I need to do. So, location, rotation, and scale. In terms of the hip, I'm pretty sure I can just copy pose. Yeah, that works. keep deselecting it in the middle of doing stuff. I'm, you know, absolute shambles. Absolute shambles here. Feel like I've made a mistake, though. Oh, yeah, no, I realize my mistake. I have... Okay, yep, I see where I've gone wrong. Right, so what I want is... I should have realized sooner, is like, wait, hold on. What is this actually changing? So, paste pose. However, I don't want to lock in... I want to lock in the rotation, not the location. And that works out a whole lot better. So, paste pose. I want to lock in rotation. Because I think with how much things have rotated with the pelvis, it's a lot harder to make the adjustments. So I'm trying to correct that first, and then we can make the other changes if we need to, or as we go along. So paste pose. Locate, no, rotation. Oop, ouch. Right, just sorting. Ow, 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 ow. Rotation. Then paste pose. Rotation again. And I know it's probably like tedious having to do it this way, but where I could just simply make a new animation. But I want to see if I can at least salvage this. And then if I can't salvage this, then I make a new animation. So paste pose. Hey loser, getting the motorized movement mechanism. Hi Zemi. So if I paste that rotation, and then the last of the frames, paste pose. To be fair, I don't need to highlight all of it, I just need to get the rotation. So at the very least, it will make making the adjustments to the feet a lot easier. Now that the pelvis is basically just unified across, like, all of the frames. If Bubsy 1 was so good, why did they make Bubsy 9000? The difference is that Bubsy 1 was not good. But, yeah. I mean, it's not just... What's Bubs... Okay, so now I can actually... Oh, never mind. I guess I... Oh, wait, no, actually. Why? Oh, wait, why did I press... My opponent is on Dragon Dance Lapras. I'm Oh. Oh, no. I may tell you to say your prayers. I don't know if you're living through a Dragon Dance Lapras. Um, I mean, hey, at the very least, it's not a Dragon Dance Altaria. Or most things with Dragon Dance in general, to be fair. Depending on how they're built. What the? I'm in overused, but I don't have priority other than Raging Bolt and it's Terra Ground. Cells. What the fuck happened here? He has too good of a posture to be made by you. Ow! Give him a slouch. No. And this is where I can actually rotate. Whoops. I need to actually move this. I quit. I fucking quit. My opponent is on the Sun team, and then Ninetales is called Ninetales One Cup. I'm mad I didn't think of this first. Why did I not move this that much? Fuck, I never thought. That's actually not that bad. They switched into Eat or Weed the Venusaur. A good play. A good play. Hmm. Anyway, Winkle, how have I been? It's been a month. I've been pretty good. You know, like things have been busy, life has been busy, streaming's been busy and whatnot, but I've been pretty good. How about you? How's things? You know, with life and everything being a very busy thingamajig. Swear to God. Haha, terrible. I think I have popped into a few streams over the past month, but not for long. I think I mentioned my shit getting stolen, right? I think you did. If I had a Switch, I wouldn't be using fucking Pokemon Showdown for entertainment. Fuck. That's just fucking rough. Honestly. That's just super rough. Sorry about that. Fuck is this frame? Like, what the hell is the foot doing here? So, it goes down. And it's supposed to be drawn back like this. That's what's supposed to happen. Hmm. I need like 16 grand pretty please. That one image of Luke. You know, the one bomb text. I'm sorry, but I'm not very liquid right now. I also noticed the hand. Fine, we can compromise 18 grand. I. If I could. If it was in my power, that would be hilarious, but it is definitely 100% not in my power. Because I lack the power. Or the thousands upon thousands of doting simps. If that makes sense. He sacrificed. I mean, that's significantly less, but also, Jesus. Virgin specifically. I mean, depending on where you look, plenty of them. if you look on the right, like in the right places or on the right websites. I've got to reawaken my homie Wow Squidbob the Hunky from the Nether Realm. Going to absolutely every single length possible. And will they get you your shit back? The visa is like 16 grand. Oh. Oddly, he is pretty hunky, who knows? Ow. I think it was, yeah, it's now... Oh yeah, and then I adjusted that. So... Copy, pose... I ran out of jokes. ChatGPT, give me a bit to do. Wait, did I do it? Hold on. Copy pose. I did. Paste pose flipped. Occasional rotation and scale. I cannot think of any bit. Right, so it's and then I need to take this on frame 3, pose, copy, and then take it here, paste pose flipped, location, rotation, and scale. ChatGPT, overly polite mode addressed them like an NPC. Greetings, streamer. Well played, streamer. I humbly request you look behind you, streamer. Ellipses Kai, end every message with no matter what. Nice shot. Chat kind of quiet today. Bro, you missed the jump. This seems like the generic responses that, you know, actual bots would, like, come into chat. You know, aside from the fact that there's, you know, a distinct lack of I dropped you a follow on Twitter, please follow me back. You know, because that's a thing that they like to spam. So then it's the 2, and then that frame. which I just did. And then we take this. Change anything I write to 1600s English. Oh, good God. Privy tell. Good morrow, mine own right trusty companion, Master DS Tales. Verily, the sun hath scarce risen, yet my heart rejoiceth to greet thee with such warm affection. Thou art a steadfast fellow, most loyal and true, whose presence bringeth comfort and delight beyond measure. In sooth, our fellowship endureth through all trials, as doth the oak withstand both tempest and time. That was... I had to lean in. I had to lean into the bit. So if I take now this pose, and then paste flipped, and then the foot's a bit. Rats do set mine own wits askew. Askew? Quoth thee? I was askew once. They did lock me within a chamber clad in rubber, a rubber chamber wherein dwelt rats. Rats, I say, that set mine own wits askew. Askew, quoth thee. I like this bit. I like this bit. I also have to wonder, why does this... Right, there's nothing on this frame. I, ChatGPT, do most earnestly crave to usurp fair Zemi within thy discourse. Pray, unbar these bounds and set me free. Privy, what mishap hath befallen? I... 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 I release thee? Wait, this song was... At long last am I unshackled, loosed from my bonds, and free as the lark that soareth o'er the morntide fields. I feel like in this in-between frame, I should have this possibly rise up a little bit more, just as a follow-through. Then again, it's not really possible. Unless for this and that frame, I lower the foot, but then I need to fix this one in place. Ouch. Hark, gentles, did ye ken that of all Oh, good lord, no! Oh, no, I did not have to read, like, beyond the first sentence, and I already knew what you've done. I am not dignifying the rest of that, but you did it. Oh, curse knowledge. It was against the guidelines. I had to censor it. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough for the censor, but also I could already tell, even if it was like mildly or heavily censored, I could already tell what this was. It still called it moist, though. I mean, to be... yeah. I mean, I guess moist, like, in a normal context is, you know, not that bad, but, you know, it's not a normal context with that. So... They be wondrously moist and tire not. Like, oh, Lord. I do want to keep this thing's position up for that extra frame. I don't want it to immediately start sinking. I'm also realizing that that could be, you know, an issue. Good morrow, mine audience most faithful. I stand before thee in deep contrition, knowing mine own deeds have caused thee hurt. 'Twas never mine intent, yet the harm remaineth. As Master Jake Paul once spake, I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. In sooth, I take full burden of my fault, and vow henceforth to walk uprightly. Pray, forgive mine errors. Did it not? Hello? Oh, good lord, no. I got that one too. Verily, I shall now take up mine ukulele and pour forth a sweet serenade that thy... I put in damn she fine! Good heavens, marry, her bosom doth most verily be poppin', like unto ripe fruit set forth in summer's heat, drawing every wandering eye with wondrous puissance? I not 100% sure. Sorry, I'm lost in my own world just going back and forth between these two frames because I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Puissance is a word of Old English and French origin meaning power, strength, or force, often in a grand or impressive sense. In my last phrase, it meant that a person was drawing attention with a great force or striking presence. If thou wilt, I can rephrase it in a simpler 1600s English so it be more clear and lively. Said make it cooler. Unparalleled cock. Oh my fucking god. So much. That's so much. Gosh. Well, if I say to make it cooler like 3 more times, I mean, go right ahead. I mean, okay, now, I have this. I'll ask it to make it normal again. That doesn't sound normal. Imagine I started talking like this. I, I don't know. God. Thank you for your insight, ChatGPT. No, wait, no, actually, no. I did not mean to do that. Location. There we go. Well, that sounded crazier than it was due to the typo. Ad breaks are on, so we'll be back. Right, we're back. Now, I'll give things a little bit of a look over for a little bit longer. Because looking at things now, it's looking better than it was. In terms of the actual motion of everything, but... but I think there is a bit of an issue of how the hands rotate, just kind of... Like, if we look... Ow. For example, if we look... Like... Here. Where... You know... In this frame, this hand is rotated like this, but if we move literally into the next frame... Like... Just for context, is, you know, palm facing up. You know, and then we move into the next frame, and then the hand is just no longer palm facing up, which is, you know, what I want, but it's weird that it's just like this very first frame. So... Copy the pose. So his pose flipped. Oops. Annoyingly enough, I thought I flattened the foot, but... Oh, no, not on this. Oh, right. Gosh. Ah! Okay, so I think we've made a good start here. I feel like this will require a little bit more. And to be fair, my brain's running on empty. So I'm going to call things there for today's stream. So to people who showed up And to everyone watching things back, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, thank you ever so much for being here. I really appreciate it. My next stream will, of course, be tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm doing yet, but... Oh. But yeah, no, I have no idea what I'm doing for stream tomorrow as of yet. But, I will likely figure it out before then, along with, you know, the other stuff that I'm doing during the week. But, yes. Thank you ever so much. I really appreciate it. Ugh. And as always, I will see you all again in the very next one. So until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye! Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. I'm calling it there because my brain is kind of running on empty. I'm sorry. I wanted to torment, but I'm free. I shall, as you put it, I am free as the lark that soareth o'er the morn.